Welcome to Clearing the Bases. My name is Anthony Sosa, and with me is my co-host Will Felton. Let's jump into it with what's new. And we just had the All-Star Week, Home Run Derby, new format, no outs, and timed rounds. What did you think of it, Will?
I thought it was the best home run derby I've ever seen. It was the great format,
Epic.
great job with the time instead of the outs. It was supposed to be 5 minutes, but then there was some rain in Cincinnati, so they moved it to four. But I think four was even better than five because I think five would have
Yeah,
been a little bit too long. But it was perfect home run derby. Todd Frazier put on a show.
I agree. Todd Frazier, the hometown hero, winning it for the crowd. Did that change it a little bit, having your hometown hero there?
I think it made it a little more awesome. I mean, you see the crowd getting all pumped. I mean, they were even booing Jock Peterson. Like that was pretty funny, honestly. But it was a great home run derby.
Yeah, I mean, I see you wearing the Reds hat now. I
Of
mean,
course,
you're a
yeah.
Reds fan now?
I wouldn't say that, but it was a good All-Star week.
But yeah, seeing the home run derby, it brought out a strategy to it. You know, I know people are saying they don't like a clock in baseball, they don't like it being timed and stuff, but it's a game, you know, it's a challenge. So I thought it was cool to have that. And you saw two different perspectives. You saw Albert Pujols, who took his time to do it. And then you saw guys like Frazier and Peterson, who's just swinging every pitch, you know, swinging to do it, whereas Pujols took it as like a regular home run derby kind of. So it was cool to see, and I liked it. So then we had the All-Star game. The American League won 6-3. Well, does that surprise you at all that the American League won?
Doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, the NL had so many injuries. You got Stanton, Holiday, and D. Gordon. They were all going to start. They all got hurt. And then Scherzer wasn't available because he pitched on the Sunday before. So
Right.
it was a given. I think that the AL was going to win, and they did just that.
Yeah, like you said, you take those guys out of the lineup. I mean, it makes it difficult. I mean, the backups are good. I mean, don't get me wrong; they're all stars for a reason.
I mean, you have DJ LeMahieu. Like, nah, D. Gordon's way better than him.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the AL's bullpen was solid. I mean, Davis and Perkins at the end. I mean, good luck scoring against them. I mean, they did get a run, but I mean, they get four. You know, they needed and stuff like that. I mean, it's crazy. So, and the offense of the American League was so solid. I mean,
Trout.
Trout. I
Trout.
mean, speaking of Trout, I mean, AL or All-Star MVP again, 2 years in a row, first person to ever do it. Well, does that surprise you? I mean, like, is there anything this guy can't do?
I really don't think there is. I think he needs to get a bigger garage in his house because he's going to get some more trucks and cars in the future.
I mean, 23 years old, and the guy's toughest decision is, do I want a truck or do I want a car? He got a free Camaro last year.
He's going to start giving them out on Twitter.
He might start selling them. I mean, I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, like you said, garage space is becoming limited. I mean, there's only so many family members he has to give them away to. So, I
That's
mean,
right.
but it's cool to see a guy like this. I mean, do you think he's got a shot to do three in a row? First ever to win three?
I think it's no doubt he will get at least one more MVP from the All-Star game in the future. I mean, he has what? He could even have 15 more chances. I mean, he's definitely going to get. I
He's
mean,
23 years old. I
it's
mean, say he
amazing.
plays till he's 36, 13 more chances.
No doubt.
And with how good he is right now, there's nobody else really better in the game. I mean, if the American League keeps winning too, I mean, it's going to be tough. But he's definitely fun to watch, and the All-Star weekend or week did improve, I think, compared to last in the previous couple of years.
Definitely.
So moving on, we're going to talk about the regular season, and we see another dominating pitcher in baseball. Last month we had Max Scherzer dominating. Now we got Zach Greinke dominating, and I mean 43 and 2/3 innings without allowing a run.
It's unbelievable. I mean, what else can you say? Unbelievable. He has two more starts. He could get the record from Oral Hershiser, who holds it, former Dodger.
Yeah, 15 and a third innings away. I mean, realistically, that's tough to do, but I mean, the way he's pitching, it's possible.
Definitely. And he next outing he faces the Mets.
One of the
And
worst offenses in baseball.
I think he definitely can shut them out in 7, maybe 8 innings. And then the real question comes in because they have a couple off days, so it depends what they decide to do with the rotation. He could end up facing the Angels on the 31st, and I think if he faces the Angels, I think Hot Trout, you saw him homer of
Yeah,
Greinke
in the All-Star
in the
game.
All-Star game, and then you got Pujols is also red hot. I think they'll score a run against him, but if they change it up a little bit, he could also pitch against the A's instead, and then I think he will get the record.
Yeah, 2 off days in the same time frame, so it's possible, but it's tough to do. It's not easy. There's a reason why the record's really not that big. I mean, it is, but I mean, he's gone 6 straight starts without allowing a run. The record would be 7. So if he does shut out the Mets, he will have at least one record. So I mean, still a good streak no matter
I
what.
mean, we don't give the Mets and A's enough credit. Those are major league hitters. Anything could happen. I mean,
Right?
they
Yeah.
could shell him. Like, who knows? But I mean, Greinke's on a roll right now. I don't know if you can stop him.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun to watch. Fun to watch, definitely. Moving on to our next segment, we're gonna talk about players that are potentially going to be traded to a different team come the trade deadline. And we're going to start off with Cole Hamels.
I think he's going to go to Texas, the Texas Rangers. And everything's bigger in Texas.
That explains Prince Fielder, right?
That's right. And he saw what Cliff Lee did there before he came to the Phillies, leading them to their first World Series. And I think he wants to do the same. And I mean, he can, and maybe this year. So we'll see what happens.
Great point. Well, I think that's a possible fit. They've had some conversation about it. I think he goes to the Dodgers. It's crazy to think about having a rotation where Cole Hamels is the third best pitcher, with Zach Greinke and Clayton Kershaw and Cole Hamels. All I have to say about that is if they pull it off, they're got a great shot to win the World Series, and good luck to every team facing them. That's all I'm going to say. So we're going to move on to another pitcher from the Phillies, but the closer, Jonathan Papelbon. Where's he going, Will?
I think he's going to go to the Dodgers, actually.
Oh.
I mean, you might not realize this because the Dodgers have such a good record, but the Dodgers have the second worst bullpen in the major leagues behind the Tigers with a 4.55 ERA, and they need help. And I think Papelbon can definitely give them a lot of help. Definitely. And, you know, the interesting thing with the second half of the season is that pitching rules. And the first half of the season, offense, you know, it can carry a team, but when you get into August and September, it's all about pitching, and the Dodgers need a bullpen to stay ahead of the Giants.
That's very true. I mean, look at last year's World Series matchup. Two of the best bullpens in baseball, if not the two best bullpens in baseball. Yeah. So, I mean, it carries you once you get to the postseason, especially if your starters can't last. So, I'm thinking that he's going to go to the Blue Jays. Their bullpen, it hasn't been that bad, but it could use some fixing. And, I mean, they also are in need of a starter. They need pitching. Let's be honest. They need any pitching they can get would help. Papelbon, I think he'd be a good fit up there in Toronto. You know, we'll find out. Moving on, we're going to talk about offensive help. Yoenis Cespedes. Where do you see him going?
I think he's going to go to the Cubs. I think they have a lot of prospects that they can offer to trade to the Tigers because that's definitely what they're going to want in return for some Cespedes or maybe even Price. But I think the Cubs would be a good fit. You know, they like the Latino players out there in the outfield. You know, they had Alfonso Soriano, they have Jorge Soler. I think Cespedes could bring some leadership to that team, that young Cubs team.
Okay. Little Cuban outfield.
Yeah.
I see him going to the Angels. And they've had problems in left field all year. Matt Joyce wasn't the answer they were looking for. Colin Cowhill, he's been hurt a lot, hasn't been doing much. So I think they pull it off. They got some good pitching in the minor leagues that I think they could dish out. And if the Tigers like what they get, losing David Price, I mean, good fit maybe. So, I mean, that'd be a scary outfield, Cespedes, Trout, and Cowhill.
Oh.
Yeah. Good luck running on them. Good luck facing them in the lineup. But he could land multiple places, so we'll find out. Next up, we have another pitcher from the Cincinnati Reds, Johnny Cueto. Where do you think he's going, Will?
I think he's going to the Kansas City Royals. Yordano Ventura has been struggling this year. Got sent down to AAA, and they need an ace if they're going to repeat like last year.
Right. Yeah. Last year, James Shields wasn't the answer for the ace. So if they pull Cueto, they got a good shot this year. I honestly think he's going to go to the Astros. He would be a good fit there with Keuchel and McHugh. That would give another 3-man solid rotation. And if he likes Houston, maybe the Houston Astros can sign him next season into a long-term deal, and that would be scary. With Keuchel and Cueto there for a while, that would be very scary. So moving on, we're going to talk about a utility man, Ben Zobrist. Where's he going?
I think he goes to the New York Mets, and that's because, you know, you've been hearing the trade rumors with Tulo for a few years now, and that's not going to happen. So I think Ben Zobrist is the next best guy. You can put it second or short, or even in the outfield because Kadar hasn't had a lot of production this year. And I think Zobrist is a good fit for the Mets, maybe make a late run at it and for the wild card.
Yeah, good point. And Zobrist is really a guy where you can see him fitting almost anywhere. I mean, since he's such a utility guy, I mean, it wouldn't hurt for anybody to have him, but it's who's willing to really give up, you know, to get him. And I think it's going to be the Pirates. I mean, you could throw him in there. I know Jordy Mercer just got hurt. You could have him fill in the outfield if somebody needs a day off. Josh Harrison hasn't been having a good year. He can fit in a lot of spots, and I think this is going to be the one where we really don't know where he's going, but I think he will leave the eighth. Lastly, we're going to talk about an Oakland Athletic, another one, and that is Scott Kazmir. Where do you see him going, Will?
I think he goes up to Minnesota with the Twins. There's been some trade history between the A's and the Twins. They like to make trades. We saw it a couple of times last year. And I think it's a good fit for some veteran leadership in that rotation, especially with the left-handed pitcher to go along with Kyle Gibson.
Right.
And I think they need some help in order to make the wild card.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if the Twins are going to be able to hang around once we get into August and September, but they make that move and they got a better shot. So, I mean, good point. I see him going to the Blue Jays along with Papelbon. Like I said, they need pitching. So Scott Kazmir, good lefty, throw him in there with Burley, R.A. Dickey, Marco Estrada. All of a sudden their rotation's looking a little solid, and then Papelbon in the bullpen's looking solid. All of a sudden the Blue Jays might be giving the Yankees a real shot for the division title.
Contenders.
Yeah, I mean, that division's so wide open, I don't see why the Blue Jays maybe don't try to pull these moves off. But you never know. We'll find out. And it's going to be interesting, this trade deadline. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it. So that about ends this segment, or this episode of Clearing the Bases. Make sure to tune in next time, because we're going to be wrapping up these trade predictions, our July predictions, and we'll be making August predictions. So we'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.